Hey guys, welcome back to Small Talk, small conversations with huge impact. My name is Alec Cuenca and I'm your host. And before anything else, I would like to thank you, but essentially this episode is all about thanking you guys. And again, if you're not familiar with this segment, Real Talk, this is the unfiltered, raw thoughts, ideas, my journal, concepts that I think about, and I create small talk when I just want to talk to you guys and I just want to share what's on my mind, even though it's not fully organized. It's not too much edited. It's not edited at all. It's like kung ano yung marinig nyo dito sa Real Talk sessions ko. This is the real me. And I wanted to create this Real Talk to hopefully inspire you guys. I want to share my story. If you've been following me on my Instagram, you probably know that I've reached 100,000 plays on Anchor. And it is a very important milestone for me. Not just for the podcast and how it grows, but for me as a person. Personally, I never imagined in my whole life that I would be able to reach that kind of number. But for the longest time, I knew that I could do that. But I never imagined like it would happen in this very amusing way where I met you guys, where I'm creating this podcast. I always believed before that I wanted to talk to people, to share my message, to use my voice as something that connects people. Because if you know me personally, you know that I'm not the brightest kid, but I'm always the talkative one. I'd like to talk. And so all of the things that are happening in my life right now are glimpses of my younger self's dreams, my younger self's goals. I wasn't born into a very grand family. I had a uninteresting childhood. My childhood was hard. It was very dramatic. But when I was a kid, I always dreamed of speaking to people, speaking in front of people, which is why when I saw this number, even though, I might have seen this coming because I'm trying to grow the podcast, but when I was able to see the 3-digit count of the streams, it just hit me that it is possible. I always tried to trick myself into believing that it was possible, but I never really understood what that means, what possible means, what manifesting means. And everything that has been happening in my life right now is just a manifestation of all those beliefs that I had when I was a kid, when I was starting this journey. It was all because I believed in it in some way. And so, what I want to share with you guys right now is I want you guys to understand that what you want exists. It's out there. It's available to you. You just need to catch up. You just need to put the work in to put you in the position for you to taste what your dreams look like. And the funny thing is, it's not how you imagined it to be, and not in a bad way. Of course, we all want these grand lives, these successes and happiness. But most of the time, when it comes to our lives, it comes in a very different form. Heck, some of the times, it's already with us. We're just not paying attention. And so I want to reiterate the point that I was able to produce something out of nothing. Some idea, just one idea. I could recall Before I started YouTube, for the people who don't know, I had a YouTube account and I started vlogging. When I had my first ever iPhone, I started vlogging, and it was going really slow, really, really slow, but it had improvements, it had progress. But it wasn't the outcome I'd expected. I always believed that I could do this. I'm good at I can edit, I can talk to the camera, I can do this. But YouTube wasn't the main platform for me. And so I remember this one time where I was talking to Jayshell, to my girlfriend, and I told her na I think I'm going to transition more into podcasting than the YouTube. She said na I shouldn't be just choosing one. If I can do both, then I should do that, right? But she was very supportive of the choice that I did. I said that I'm gonna focus on podcasting muna. Let's see how this goes. And that's something you would expect from me because when I feel like it's not working, I tend to, jump out of the train and try some new other stuff. And that was the ultimate fear that I had. Like, I'm only good at starting things. I'm not good at making it happen or making something out of this thing continuously. But what I've learned when it hit me this morning is that every single decision that you make in your life will lead you to where you need to be. The moment I surrendered everything, like I believed in it. In the back of my mind, 100% I believed that I could make it. I could do it. I could create this platform for people. But I didn't know how to, right? And I was so obsessed on how to do it, how to make it happen. But ironically, the best stuff that happened to me was when I finally let go and surrender myself. Okay, whatever you want me to do, I'll just do it. I'll just go with the flow. I tried so hard controlling the waves in my life, but the best stuff in my life came when I learned how to let go of that control. When I realized that I couldn't control the waves, but I could learn how to surf. And so that's what I trained for when I started this podcast journey. I didn't put my expectations that high. I wasn't obsessed in making this happen. I knew that if this would happen, it will happen. I let go. I surrendered everything.
Hey guys, let me just jump in real quick. I want to remind you that Lazada's biggest one-day sale is coming this November 11, this Wednesday. And if you're like me, who loves to shop at very low prices and who just enjoys free shipping vouchers so much, then you cannot miss this chance. Make sure that you add to cart the things that you need right now and click the link below when you check out on November 11. You can also use the voucher code PNA1111LAZ to enjoy 111 pesos off your first Lazada purchase. So, I'll see you on November 11 and happy shopping.
But don't get me wrong, I put in the work. Like I created, and I created a lot of stuff. I tried and I tried and I tried. But there was always this voice inside of me countering the belief that I had that you're not that good. I mean, who are you? Sino ka ba para gumawa ng ganyan? Ano bang naabot mo? Wala ka namang credentials, ganyan. And honestly, I'm a loss for words because somehow those voices are still there. But I just learned not to listen to them. And so if you have something in your life that you feel that you can do, but you don't know how to do it, just surrender and believe that you will do it. You just need to focus on what's in front of you. If you can break down your dream into one single decision, whether it's not eating chips, whether it's writing one sentence for your book, whether it's studying one chapter for your book, when you just let go and start focusing on the work and don't give a shit about the progress, that's the only time that you can connect with your success and with your happiness. It's just surreal for me to actually see the podcast grow this much, because I didn't I never expected this, to be honest. And right now I'm going into a phase where the podcast is transitioning into something bigger and something better. I'm gonna share in a little bit secret. So I hope when I release this episode, it's almost certain that they will gonna be announcing me. But I will be signing a podcast network, and let me just be honest with you guys with how I look at that. Well, they already contacted me before and they wanted me to join the podcast network, but I was hesitant because I felt like that wasn't the perfect timing for me. Even though stats wise, business wise, that was the perfect choice, I had this feeling that it wouldn't be perfect for the podcast. And so I went with it. And there wasn't a single day that I regretted, and I was thinking that maybe it was better for me if I just signed up for the network, right? I just let go. I made a decision with whatever I knew, with the gut that I have. And that's the thing, we all have guts to make this right decision. And if we just follow our gut, if we listen to our hearts, what is the decision we need to make, and make that decision and surrender ourselves to that decision, that the universe is still conspiring for us, even though we make that decision, that the universe wants us to make that decision. That's what I believe is what gut is to believe, it's the universe tap on your shoulder to remind you that, hey, I think you need to do this. I think you need to do that. It's something not logical. It's something not based on your mind, on your logic, but it's something that you feel that you need to do. And that's your gut. And that's the universe way of telling you that I'm looking out for you. You just need to trust me. And so I went with that. I didn't sign with the podcast network because I felt like it wasn't the perfect time. And so I didn't focus on my podcast at the time. I started on TikTok. And when I started TikTok, I blew up on TikTok, which was perfect because in retrospect, if I had signed on the podcast network, I would probably created more podcasts that time instead of TikTok videos. And I would never, would have been able to reach this kind of reach in TikTok. So essentially, all the decisions that I made led me to this point where I feel like it was always for the best. All the doubts, all the fears, all the things that I thought I would regret was the perfect choice. Might not be the best, might not be the better choice, but it is the perfect choice because that's the choice that I made. Because that's the choice that I made. And I learned how to let that go. And surprisingly, the universe and God blessed me with allowing me right now to take another chance at the network. And this time, I feel like this is the best decision for me. And I certainly feel that there are big things coming for the podcast after, I signed with them. And so if you're going to see drastic changes with the podcast, not something that you don't like, I'm sure that if you've loved the episodes that I put out, you will love the changes that will happen in the podcast. So make sure that you look out for that. But yeah, the blessings that I am receiving right now is something that I never have expected. And it's just surreal to see how all the pain that you will experience in your life will make sense if you just give it time. And that's something that we always forget. We're always so caught up in the pain of that moment that we forget that it's all part of the process. So I hope that if you listen to this podcast, I hope you can see that there is this happiness that you are looking for. There is this success that you are looking for. You just need to let go. You need to keep going. And you need to have faith. It changes everything, man.
Hey guys, let me just jump in real quick. I always believe that knowledge is power. So if you're looking for books that can potentially change your lives for the better, I curated, I made, and I recommended a list that you can find in the description box below. And if you're also looking for microphones and equipments that you can use when you want to start your own podcast, then I listed my recommendation list below. It's the things that I use, it's the things that I love. The things that I've listed below helped me in my self-improvement journey, and I hope that it can help you too. You can find them in the links below, and I hope that you check them out.
And one thing that would be very funny for me, this coming weekend, I'll be speaking at a leadership summit for student leaders at the Batangas State University. And this is like the main indicator that it has been a full circle. I remember the first time that I saw a speaker in our leadership training, and I can remember the first event about leadership that I went to was when I saw Francis Kong speaking in Letran de San Juan Colegio. And when I heard him speak, I told to myself that one day I will do that. I believed in that moment that one day I will do that, which is ridiculous because it was the reaction that most of the people had when they heard Francis Kong, when they saw Francis Kong. But at the back of my mind, I really believed that. I really held on to that I will be someday like that. And no, I'm not yet at the Francis Kong level, but having my first ever leadership summit for the students is something that I've always dreamed of. And if you could see me right now, how happy I am, how glad I am, and how amazed I am with life, you'd understand me. But I hope I could share with you guys right now. But yeah, I just hope that you see that your dreams are possible. Anything that you want. You can't have everything, but you can have anything that you're willing to work hard for. Always remember that. So I guess I'm gonna end this real talk right here. Basically, this has just been an announcement, and I hope you don't take this the wrong way. I didn't mean to brag. I didn't mean to be arrogant with what's happening with my life right now. It's completely the opposite. I'm starstruck. I'm amazed. And honestly, I couldn't have done it without you guys. Everyone who's been listening to the podcast, everyone who is listening to the podcast right now, if you clicked on this without you knowing what you would learn, and now you know part of my story, you're now part of the journey. Once you've clicked that, you'll always be a part of my life, and I'll always be thankful for that. I wouldn't trade this life for any other life, and I just want to say thank you for making this life extraordinary. So yeah, thank you guys for everything, from TikTok, from Instagram, from Twitter. And don't worry, I'm just getting started. I'm not going anywhere. So thank you so much for listening to this real talk. Well, I hope that you learned something from this episode. If you like this episode, message me on Instagram at Small Talk Podcast and let me know what you think. But this is gonna be one of the last episodes that I'll be producing on my own. So I'm excited to see how this podcast goes forward. And I have so many things in store for you guys. So make sure that you wait for those. Okay, so follow me on Instagram at Small Talk Podcast. And thank you so much. Talk to you guys next episode. Peace.